Testing 1, 2, 3. Yep, I'm good. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get started. As you can see, the name of the podcast has changed. It's went from tea and juice to tea with juice. I oh cool, I got someone in there right when I started. Awesome. I wanted to do a little bit of a change because I used to do this with T, but he's kind of got his own thing going. So I just kind of wanted to branch out and do something on my own. That's why the podcast has a whole different look now. And as I come up with more ideas, it's just going to keep changing and changing until it's exactly what I want it to be. But if y'all follow me on Facebook, which if not, I think I got the link in the description. I don't know. I changed a lot of stuff and I can't remember what I did. But the topic of today's podcast is postpartum depression, or just postpartum in general, and how motherhood has been the past almost 2 years at this point. So I kind of made a couple of notes that I wanted to do. Exactly what is postpartum, kind of postpartum depression. So let me just go through those real quick, and then I'll, get into my experience. So postpartum is the time period after having a child. It's about 6 to 8 weeks. So they on all the articles I looked up, that was pretty much the time period. So it's 6 to 8 weeks. So what I really want, I know I'm going through this information kind of fast, but what I wanted to talk about was my experience with postpartum depression. Nowadays, you see a lot of women, putting their story out there and how it affected them. And I've been seeing a lot of it recently, so I thought I would talk about my experience. It kind of makes me feel better, when you're going through that time period, you feel like nobody understands, or that, it's a burden on, people, but it's really not. So let me tell you what I found. Postpartum depression is a medical condition that many women experience after having a child. A lot of people confuse it with the baby blues, which usually that is what happens after you have a baby. You feel down, you feel anxious, you feel things like that, but they only last about a couple of days to 2 weeks based on all the research that I've looked up. But postpartum depression is very different. It lasts longer. Those emotions are way more intense. So what it is a strong feelings of sadness, anxiety, tiredness, and that could last up to 2 to 3 years, and I didn't know that. So that's why I think it's interesting to have this podcast right now, to sit here and talk about it now as I'm in what they would say the end of it. So these feelings can make it hard for you to take care of yourself and your baby. Some of the things that they say, you feel depressed most of the day, feel any type of shame or guilt, or sometimes you feel like a failure. And I'm just going, through all these things that I found. Being scared all the time, having severe mood swings, which I'll get into that soon. And what it could do to your everyday life. You have little interest in doing things that you normally like to do. You're tired all the time. You either eat a lot more, or you don't eat at all. And then you have trouble sleeping, insomnia, or maybe you oversleep, you sleep too long, having, trouble concentrating, things like that. And I wanted to read all those because I felt like it was important to kind of, let people know the things that happens. So I had my baby about 18 months ago. And let me tell you, that first 2 weeks was amazing. It was bliss. I had my little baby. She was cute. She looked like, tea, and she was just so amazing. She just slept all the time. Didn't have to eat a whole lot. It's just so easy to take care of her. But we hit that 2 week mark, and boy, it hit me like a ton of truck, like a big old diesel just hit me. So all of a sudden, I was super anxious. Is she eating enough? Like overly anxious. I know that's not abnormal for new moms, but I was overly anxious. I mean, when I mean to the tea on that bottle where it was like 2 ounces, I mean, I'm just staring at that line on the bottle, and the formula, I was real meticulous about it, and I didn't get any sleep. She was laying right next to us, and I just couldn't get any sleep. I was tired. I couldn't concentrate. But the main thing I wanted to talk about was definitely the depression part. It was super hard for me and for those around me. Oh man, I made it really hard for T, if I'm just being honest. I didn't really want to do much of anything. I sat around in hopes that I would get some sort of inspiration to do something or move around. But it got really bad. And there's some things I don't know. I don't want to get flagged on YouTube or anything. So maybe another time. And T gave me a great idea of doing Instagram Live. So maybe one day I'll do that. And we could talk about it a little bit more. But the depression part of it was so intense. It was really intense. I can't describe it other than you looking at yourself like from like drowning is what it felt like, if I'm being honest. Like, I didn't feel like myself, didn't want to do any of the things that I like to do, didn't want to watch anything. I just wanted to be still. It was so hard to take care of my little one because I was just so depressed. And so what I thought I could do was, it's just, I get through it. They said it's only supposed to last 6 days to 2 weeks or something. I'm thinking I have the baby blues, but I didn't. I genuinely was seriously depressed. Anxiety at the roof, and before I even had my child, I was diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. So could you imagine adding that on to it? Like, it's just sky high. Like, I can't think, can't eat, I can't do anything. And so that really affected our day-to-day lives. And oh man, it was so bad. It was overeating. It was not eating enough. It was I really thought I wasn't a good mom. I struggled with that severely. So
just keep going.
I know, but you throw me off. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, okay. I was saying that what I was saying was, sorry, I could hear myself and it's throwing me off. So it made day-to-day life really hard. I'll just start from there. Man, I couldn't think. I really thought I was a bad mom, like I wasn't taking care of her enough. Like I just wasn't, any little thing that happened, like for instance, if you sit here and think about, babies when they drink milk and sometimes they spit up and then milk gets into their neck and things like that. And I would take little things like that where all it takes is to just kind of clean their neck and make them clean again. Like, I would take that as a slight if their neck was sour. I thought, like, it makes you think things that aren't true. Until one day, I think it was maybe her 6-month appointment, or I can't remember. It was very early on. I was talking to her doctor, and the appointment is for her. That's the crazy part. The appointment is for her, But they asked me about me, and I was like, oh, well, I feel like I'm drowning. I feel like I am not good enough. And even worse thoughts than that. And I kind of didn't realize how serious it was. Um, and I kid you not, like I said, it was for her, but the doctors are scrambling for me. They're like, oh, we need to get you seen by your doctor. You need to go to therapy. And I'm like, what is going on? I'm just feeling down. I'm just down. I don't need any help. I don't need any medicine. I don't need any of that stuff. And it put me in a lot of denial that not like I knew something was wrong, but maybe I just didn't want it to be that serious. So that's part of the experience is I didn't realize that I needed medicine. I did. It's just that's how bad it was. I couldn't function day to day. I couldn't have a conversation with T. I couldn't have a conversation with anybody. I couldn't do any of those things. So it just messed up. The depression part messed up my life. Obviously, I'm not talking about having a kid messed up my life or anything like that. But just that part just kind of rocked my world. It was so bad. So I did have to get on medicine. Which, if anybody out there is wondering if they should, I really just recommend going to your doctor. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, so I would recommend just go seeking help. Just go talk to somebody, kind of figure it out. Because it's different for everybody. This is just my experience. Mine was super extreme. And I feel bad for anybody that came across me during that time. It was really bad. Man. But that's just kind of it. And there's so many other things that I could get into that maybe I'll get into another time, but the depression was really bad. So just for any moms out there, especially after having your baby, please seek help. If you're having those thoughts, if you're having extreme feelings, that's the best way I can describe it. Talk to somebody, go talk to your doctor, go do whatever you gotta do to get help. Please don't wait as long as I did to get help, because it took a lot longer to recover from it. And I think that's what I'm doing now. I'm at this state in my life after having her at this point to where I can feel those hormones, those the up and downs that you feel when your body's trying to get back to how it was before you had the baby, and all these things equaling out. So that's kind of where I'm at now. But what I wanted to talk about, and I didn't want to talk about everything super negative, just my journey and things that I've learned being a mom. And my kid is amazing. She's the best thing, in my life besides T. I'm not going to take that away from him, but she is amazing. She is at that point to where she's talking a lot, where she's saying words, and it's so cute, and she likes to dance and she likes to sing. And oh my goodness, one day when I do start putting videos up, because that's what I really wanted to do, you guys. I know, quick break in between what I was just saying, but I really wanted to start doing videos where you guys can see me. Hopefully next time I can have that set up. Because maybe I'll start, and I might have to blur out her face. I had to talk to T about this. This is so random. But maybe videos of her singing and dancing and stuff like that, because she's so cute. She's so adorable. But yeah, so you guys can kind of see my life, and maybe I'll start vlogging. I don't know. I've thought about that too, but who knows? I don't know if that's for me. But yes, so she's been singing, dancing. She's growing her own little personality. She's sassy. Just overall great kid. I haven't really had to have problems with her. Anybody that's got a chance to see her, meet her, man, she's great. She may be a little standoffish at first when you see her, but once she gets to know you, oh my goodness, she clings to you. Oh, that's embarrassing. I did not want to cough, but yeah. And then I wanted to kind of talk about some of the thoughts that plague me sometimes being a mom. It's just trying to not be selfish and things like that, because a lot of the things that should be okay, like going out to do stuff and doing things for yourself, just kind of makes you feel a little bit selfish, because you feel like you pump yourself up and be like, well, I should go take care of myself. I should go do the things that I like to do. And then you'll see her cling, I see her cling to me, or she don't want me to go nowhere. And then I feel kind of bad because I'm like, well, maybe I should take her with me, though a lot of the things that I want to do, I can't take her with me. So yeah, it's some of those things that plague me, and I'm not saying this is part of the depression, because I definitely think that I'm out of that. It's definitely getting over that mom guilt that a lot of women talk about. Just making sure that I take care of myself and that I try to get back to feeling like myself, because now I'm just kind of like, oh, I call her E's mom. I just kind of feel like her mom. I don't feel like anything more than that at the moment, but I know that I'm getting back to myself. Like, some of the things that I've done is I got my hair done, like done the way I like it. How many years has it been? 4 years maybe since I really did something with my hair the way that I like it. I experimented with a couple other hairstyles and they just weren't me. When I got my hair done, my nails did, but I kind of felt bad about all those things. But I'm slowly getting over that hump in life. But yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to be me again, or maybe find something new that I like to do, which is actually what tea with juice is. And it's funny because my mother-in-law, she came up with that name. One day, I think at the end of the stream, and I didn't realize the last time I streamed was in September. Was it September? Well, that's the last thing that I saw. But yeah, so she came up with that at the end of my podcast a couple of months ago, and I thought it was going to be a cute outro, but then I was like, that just sounds like a good name, and I contemplated of whether or not that's actually what I wanted it to be. And then just these ideas started coming to my head of all these things that I want to talk about. What did I want tea with juice to be? What did I want the topics to be about? And it's just some things that are super important to me. Maybe some things that maybe I just kind of treat tea with juice kind of like a diary. It's not really, I know tea with juice, and I know kind of what tea stands for nowadays culturally, but it's not really going to be like that type of tea. It's really just going to, like, y'all be my, I view you guys like family, so it's like I'll talk to y'all like family. Like, for instance, I don't really think I've sat here and talked about these things to any of my close friends yet, and so that's why it's like I'm stumbling through it. I'm falling through it. It's been a couple of months since I just did this, so I'm just kind of stumbling through the stream. But I just feel kind of glad to get these things off my chest. So, yeah, that's what tea with juice would be. I got so many different topics, and maybe I can just, bring up a couple of them. Let's see, so that y'all kind of know what path we're going on. Because I get so many different ideas that I can't wait to do. A couple of them is, I want to do a video about writing. I kind of want to take you guys through the process of how I create books and stuff like that. And maybe, I have a couple of author friends that I could hit up, and maybe I could talk to them and see if one day that they can come on the podcast, so we can kind of go back and forth, because that's just what I used to do back in the day. That I'm trying to get back into. Life lessons learned. I think I did a podcast like that a couple of months ago, but I think I may have stuck on like one or two topics. Maybe I could dig more into things that I've learned now that I'm here a couple months later. Some of my personal struggles, and then I put a poll on Instagram a couple of times just to see what y'all would like me to talk about. So it's kind of open-ended thing for you guys. I really wanted to do like a tier list, or not a tier list, but like a list of movies, shows, and maybe music and things that I like to do. And that's kind of more of where the video comes into play, because as much as, I know, just listening to somebody, this might do better on like Spotify, but I think for what I want tea with juice to be right now, I would really like for you guys to, kind of see the things that I'm talking about. So that's another thing. Life goals, things that I would like to do, maybe some old goals that have changed since, just something like basically what I want Tea with Juice to be is just kind of deep diving into life and, just talking about things that mean something to someone. Maybe somebody can relate to me. So that's just kind of what this is at the moment. But yeah, I want to talk about kind of how I grew up, life growing up in. Well, I'm from Oklahoma. If nobody knows, I can't remember. I think that was very early on, when it was called Tea and Juice. I don't remember if I let y'all know where I was from. I'm trying to get back into cooking, so maybe I could put a couple of videos up about some of the recipes that I have. Q&As. I love a good Q&A. So, and then crocheting. I started crocheting about 2 years ago, and I got like all these needles and things like that. And as I'm learning, I guess I could just show you guys progress. But yeah, I know this is kind of a short episode and stuff, but I really just wanted to kind of get back into it. Get the ball rolling again, and I'm sure the next one will be better than this one. But yeah, so that's kind of what the plans are for the channel. And T will pop in there occasionally when he has time. Other than that, that's kind of it, you guys. I really appreciate everybody stopping by that did come in and listen. And I hope that, maybe I put some good information out there. Hopefully someone can relate. And I hope that, everybody has a good evening. I know it's not really late, but it's kind of late. But anyway, like I said, I appreciate everybody listening. This should be every Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. If anything changes, I post on Facebook and Instagram if anything ever gets delayed. So just keep an eye out there. But other than that, that is it. This is the end of it. I appreciate everybody listening, and thank you for stopping by, because this was Tea with Juice, as my mother-in-law put it. Have a good night, everyone.